I just wanted to extend an incredible thank you to all the organizers and managers for pulling the retreat together and for stepping in to create this container, not only for you all, but for me also to be able to step in and participate in the ways that I can. And just to begin with saying that for myself, it's a little unknown how things are going to go. And some days I have better days than other days. And so if it's okay with you, I would love to be spontaneous so that if I'm feeling okay, I can step in and just, like text the managers and say, hey, instead of listening to a recording, can I come on a live? And then other times when I'm not feeling so good, not doing that. And so then in a way, I know this is true for every retreat, but in a way, it's highlighted that we're all entering into an unknown, and that we know, at least intellectually, that at any moment something um, can um, invite us into a particular deep surrender. And that's exactly what we do sometimes in general on a retreat. And then sometimes the invitation is even stronger, which is to let go of how we want things to be. And I've definitely been working with that myself, of noticing that I'm orienting and wanting to, in some way, have my mind clearer, and definitely to experience less nausea and fatigue and less pain. And in a way, it's so great because not that I and you haven't been working with that, all these many years, or just however long that some of you have been on this path of the Dharma. But it becomes so marked and so strong when we're faced with very strong challenges, and that could be emotional and relational. It could be earthquakes. It could be our health. I mean, our family. It could be many things that invite us to surrender, wanting it to be different than it is. And I feel that invitation in such an ongoing way, those moments where there is surrender, and in the surrender, how amazing it is to me, and it feels miraculous sometimes, and I don't know if this is true for you as well. In that surrender, when there's a surrender, there is always an opening. And so that's the path that we're on. And when we come on retreat together, then we're really supporting each other to surrender, wanting it to be different than it is. And to surrender, not wanting what we have. And it's it's a lesson that we learn over and over again and over and over again. And each time I catch my mind making my symptoms at the moment, I wouldn't say enemies, but separate from myself. Like these are the things that are separate from myself and kind of like overpowering me in a way. And I catch my mind and I'm like, oh, I'm not being in relationship with my own sickness at the moment and all the conditions around that, like being in hospital every day and being in meetings with doctors every day and making it other than, oh, this is life. This is how life is manifesting for me. And so that feels like it's such a beautiful invitation that we're all offered in every moment. And that's the invitation of the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha's invitation in supporting us to take refuge is in our capacity to actually embody this letting go and surrender, to being willing to meet what it is that we find. And sometimes that's fear, and sometimes it's, as I said, making it polarized and an enemy, or sometimes it's like having moments that are lovely. I just went for a little walk yesterday to a place called Demon Park, and it's so green after the desert and so lush. And because of all the rain, there's this little creek, and I sort of went down the path to the creek, and there was the sound of water. I mean, I haven't heard the sound of running water in months. And with all these trees overgrown, and I'm like, oh my God, nature and life is so beautiful. And in its essence, it's so healing, and that sort of opening to that and that trust in that. And that's taking refuge in this, that inherent in life is this capacity to open and to heal. And that healing doesn't mean necessarily I'm going to get better, you're going to get better, our families are going to get better, or the earth is going to get better. But it does mean that we are in the flow of openness to the unfolding of wherever it is we're going. So that surrender of and renouncing outcomes, and yet orienting towards healing and orienting towards being willing to relate to and to include whatever is living inside of us. And I'm not saying that's magical. It's a journey, and I'm on the journey as you are on the journey. We're all on this journey, right, of orienting towards and inviting that willingness to say, wow, this is deeply uncomfortable, and I'm willing to include you in my life. Because you are already, actually. So I'm just catching up with reality as it is. And that's our practice. And that's our refuge, because when we can and when we support each other to do it, then there's joy, then there's love, then there's caring, right? And that's the path. So in the very traditional terms, you know, where we're acknowledging the reality of the noble truths, of the Four Noble Truths, and that's what we take refuge in. that there are things that we're always wanting and not wanting. That sometimes that wanting or not wanting happens around shocking events. And that's the first noble truth, the suffering of that. The Dharma is understanding that and naming that and trusting that we have the capacity inside of ourselves to strengthen and grow to hold that reality without wanting and not wanting. And I've really been thinking about that because I recently have heard myself say to my core group of healers, one of the things that I'm most scared of is losing I don't want to say the Dharma, losing my orientation to the Dharma while I go through chemo and radiation. And then I realize, oh wow, I have to let go of that too. And I have to trust that below the cognitive level of wanting and not wanting, that there is something there. And that's why I referred to nature earlier on, that there is a strength there that is below the cognitive level, that in some way or another will carry me. And that's the invitation of refuge. That below our cognitive level, there is a strength there that will carry us. That faith of being willing to jump into the unknown, that faith in being willing to open, whether it's into incredible joy or incredible difficulty or pain, of being able to open and not to try and hang on a cognitive level of control. That willingness to let go into the stream and say, I'll jump into the current and trust that with the Sangha, with us together, guidance, wisdom, love, sila, patience, generosity, compassion will surface and carry each one of us through. Okay, so that was very stream of consciousness. I hope you could follow it. But let's take the formal refuges now together. We take refuge in our unlimited capacity to grow, to embody, to be infused with all the liberating qualities of the heart and mind. Our Buddha nature. We take refuge in the practice of orienting towards, of calling our energies to being present and kind. Of discerning what is wholesome and unwholesome. We take refuge in the practice of the Dharma. We take refuge in the love and the wishes for love that we carry in our hearts for each other. In the real space of the retreat center, in our wireless space, and in the space of all our ancestors that we call on. We take refuge in being willing to rely on each other, to offer support and to receive it. Because we can't do it without each other. We take refuge in the Sangha. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Do you miss all the Dharma Dana bells? I love those big bells and ringing them. So then let's take the precepts together. And this really beautiful acknowledgement of our capacity to live and to learn to live without harming. That's such a deep and profound gift we give to ourselves and to each other, isn't it? Like, just amazing. And you know, it's so easy to forget the incredible generosity that each one of us has given by living in our imperfect ways with the precepts. And so before we even take them, I want to acknowledge that we are giving such amazing gifts to the world. And sometimes I'm in discussions with people and they say, oh, I don't know what to do and what work I should do in the world. And it's like the very beginning is the practice of the precepts. And the end, the beginning and the end, because it's so deep to realize and embody what it means to care, not to harm. And what a beautiful vision that is. And that's so revolutionary. All the revolutionary movements like Marxism and socialism and anti-imperialism and anti-colonialism and awakening and freedom, they all based on this, of not harming. And that's what we're already practicing, but we forget to look in our own internal mirror and appreciate that and reflect on that. So, see if you would like to begin by taking a moment and appreciating your own practice of non-harming. And don't go to where you harm. Stay with where you haven't harmed, so that we are not just putting a concept on top of a reality, but supporting that reality that we have embodied by undertake the training to continue to strengthen my heart's wish to refrain from harming, to refrain from unnecessarily taking life, of where I do, like killing bacteria in my body or cells, multiplying cells in my body, I undertake and strengthen the wish and training to refrain from harming life, to grow towards respecting my life and all life as sacred and beautiful. I respect and honor this wish and training. I undertake the training and the wish to refrain from taking what isn't freely offered, to go deeper in learning about what this means, to live in the field of generosity and respect. I honor the ways that I have refrained from taking what isn't freely offered, and cherish and appreciate the ways I've been generous and shared. Honor that generosity. Bow down to it. I undertake the training to refrain from harming in my sexual expression, to respect and honor our sexual expressions, our sexuality, our embodied energies, and to view our bodies as sacred and other bodies as sacred. I respect my path to loving and honoring my body, my sexuality, and all bodies and all sexual expressions. I undertake the training to refrain from harming in my speech. I honor and appreciate the ways I have cared and use speech as an expression of my caring, have spoken truly for healing, for respect and dignity. I honor and thank that stream inside of us. May it continue to grow. And in this honoring, may I refrain from shaming, blaming, and judgment. Thinking and verbalizing those energies. May we never lie. May we be honest. May speech become the expression of blessing. I undertake the training to refrain from taking into my body and my mind whatever will bring my life out of balance. I want to learn how to support inner balance and well-being, and to navigate the complexity of that in this world. In the context of this retreat, letting go unless there are medical reasons for any mind-altering substances. And for reading, if you can do that. And so that we're really hanging with this deep learning that we're entering together. Thank you. So I know it's late, and so I wanted to check in with you. I thought maybe I could lead a 15-minute meditation, and if you are up for that, are you up for that? Yeah. So then get cozy in the ways that you would like to be cozy. See if you would like to just touch in for a moment and greet any tiredness or exhaustion. Or maybe there's a lot of energy and excitement. Just acknowledging for a moment how it is for you. Ah. Greetings, you're living in this field, inside and outside of me. Greetings. And through this greeting, maybe feeling again your heart's wish to care for this life, lying down or sitting or standing. And then acknowledging the places of pressure, the expression of the earth element. Maybe where if we're lying down, feeling that hardness underneath our bodies, or just the pressure. Or if we're sitting where the buttocks are and that pressure, and the feet and legs perhaps, or just the buttocks and feet. Letting awareness know pressure is pressure. Just so simple. Maybe there's a place, another place where you feel pressure. Maybe where the hands are resting. And see if you can feel softness now, maybe the softness of cloth against the abdomen. Or the softness of the saliva in the mouth, touching the gums and the tongue. And that warmth there in the mouth. And it might be you can feel the warmth of the aliveness of the body internally. Mm. Perhaps you can also feel coolness of the air against the skin on the face. And if you would like to continue in this way, exploring the body, or perhaps the movement of air is calling you in its touch as it passes into the nostrils and out again. That coolness. The warmth coming out. Or in the lifting and falling of the abdomen and or chest. letting the mind rest in the rhythm of the breath, or in the experience of the elements in the body, hot, soft, warm, cold, movement, vibration. Warm, Returning if the mind has wandered off. As we come close to the end of the evening formal schedule, see if you would like to appreciate the efforts that you made to come to the retreat. For those of you who have been part of the organizing committees for those efforts, acknowledging that love and the wish to love that brought us all together, to deepen that love and to deepen our wisdom. We give thanks. Appreciating those efforts. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sweet dreams.